Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An energetic attempt to achieve something. He fought a battle for recognition. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. Police tried to control the battle between the pro- and anti-abortion mobs. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. Grant won a decisive victory in the Battle of Chickamauga. Battle or contend against in or as if in a battle. They battled over the budget. Climb awkwardly, as if by scrambling. An energetic attempt to achieve something. Getting through the crowd was a real struggle. Be engaged in a fight. Carry on a fight. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. Make a strenuous or labored effort. She struggled for years to survive without welfare. Strenuous effort. The struggle to get through the crowd exhausted her. To exert strenuous effort against opposition. He struggled to get free from the rope. Go against, as of rules and laws. This behavior conflicts with our rules. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. A disagreement or argument about something important. The familiar conflict between Republicans and Democrats. An incompatibility of dates or events. He noticed a conflict in the dates of the two meetings. A state of opposition between persons or ideas or interests. His conflict of interest made him ineligible for the post. Be in conflict. The two proposals conflict. Opposition between two simultaneous but incompatible feelings. He was immobilized by conflict and indecision. Opposition in a work of drama or fiction between characters or forces, especially an opposition that motivates the development of the plot. This form of conflict is essential to man's writing. A mutual promise to marry. The act of giving someone a job. Contact by fitting together. The engagement of the clutch. The act of sharing in the activities of a group. The teacher tried to increase his students' engagement in class activities. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. He lost his romantic ideas about war when he got into a real engagement. Employment for performers or performing groups that lasts for a limited period of time. A meeting arranged in advance. Be engaged in a fight. Carry on a fight. Siblings are always fighting. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. Make a strenuous or labored effort. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. A fight broke out at the hockey game. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. Fight against or resist strongly. Don't fight it. An aggressive willingness to compete. The team was full of fight. A boxing or wrestling match. The fight was on television last night. An intense verbal dispute. A violent fight over the bill is expected in the Senate. An engagement fought between two military forces. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. Battle or contend against in or as if in a battle. The Kurds are combating Iraqi troops in northern Iraq. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. Made an effort to cover all the reading material. Use of physical or mental energy, hard work. He got an A for effort. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. Contributed to the war effort. A notable achievement. The book was her finest effort. Attempt by employing effort. We endeavor to make our customers happy. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. Wished him luck in his endeavor. A purposeful or industrious undertaking, especially one that requires effort or boldness. Attempt by employing effort. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. A purposeful or industrious undertaking, especially one that requires effort or boldness. Make an effort or attempt. The police attempted to stop the thief. Enter upon an activity or enterprise. The act of attacking. They made an attempt on his life. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. Melt, fat or lard, in order to separate out impurities. Try the yak butter. Test the limits of. You are trying my patience. Make an effort or attempt. Take a sample of. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. Put on a garment in order to see whether it fits and looks nice. Put on trial or hear a case and sit as the judge at the trial of. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. She gave it a good try. Examine or hear evidence or a case by judicial process. Give pain or trouble to. Action taken by a group of people. A military engagement. A military engagement. He saw action in Korea. A judicial proceeding brought by one party against another. One party prosecutes another for a wrong done or for protection of a right or for prevention of a wrong. The operating part that transmits power to a mechanism. The piano had a very stiff action. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. She actioned the company for discrimination. Put in effect. He actioned the operation. The state of being active. He is out of action. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. The action of natural forces. An act by a government body or supranational organization. Recent federal action undermined the segregationist position. Something done, usually as opposed to something said. There were stories of murders and other unnatural actions. The most important or interesting work or activity in a specific area or field. The action is no longer in technology stocks but in municipal bonds. The series of events that form a plot. His novels always have a lot of action. The trait of being active and energetic and forceful. A man of action. Be engaged in a fight. Carry on a fight. Militant groups are contending for control of the country. Have an argument about something. Maintain or assert. He contended that communism had no future. Succeed in doing, achieving, or producing something, with the limited or inadequate means available. Compete for something. Engage in a contest. Measure oneself against others. To make the subject of dispute, contention, or litigation. Climb awkwardly, as if by scrambling. Rushing about hastily in an undignified way. An unceremonious and disorganized struggle. Bring into random order. Stir vigorously. Make unintelligible. Scramble the message so that nobody can understand it. To move hurriedly. The friend scrambled after them. A combat between two mounted knights tilting against each other with blunted lances. Joust against somebody in a tournament by fighting on horseback. A combat between two mounted knights tilting against each other with blunted lances. Move sideways or in an unsteady way. Pitching dangerously to one side. Heel over. The tower is tilting. A contentious speech act. A dispute where there is strong disagreement. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the vertical. The tower had a pronounced tilt. To incline or bend from a vertical position. A slight but noticeable partiality. The court's tilt toward conservative rulings. Charge with a tilt. A prearranged fight with deadly weapons by two people, accompanied by seconds, in order to settle a quarrel over a point of honor. Any struggle between two skillful opponents, individuals or groups. Fight a duel, as over one's honor or a woman. In the 19th century, men often dueled over small matters. A hoe that is used by pushing rather than pulling. Disorderly fighting. An unceremonious and disorganized struggle. Fight or struggle in a confused way at close quarters. The drunken men started to scuffle. Walk by dragging one's feet. A contest in which teams pull of opposite ends of a rope. The team dragged across a central line loses. Any hard struggle between equally matched groups. Conflict between social or economic classes, especially between the capitalist and proletariat classes. Conflict between social or economic classes, especially between the capitalist and proletariat classes. Conflict between social or economic classes, especially between the capitalist and proletariat classes. Actions taken by a government to defeat insurgency. A bitter quarrel between two parties. Carry out a feud. The two professors have been feuding for years. Engaged in or ready for military or naval operations. Review the fighting forces. The act of fighting. Any contest or struggle. There was fighting in the streets. Organized opposition to authority. A conflict in which one faction tries to wrest control from another. The act of appeasing someone or causing someone to be more favorably inclined. A wonderful skill in the pacification of crying infants. Actions taken by a government to defeat insurgency. A treaty to cease hostilities. Organized opposition to authority. A conflict in which one faction tries to wrest control from another. Refusal to accept some authority or code or convention. Each generation must have its own rebellion. Organized opposition to authority. A conflict in which one faction tries to wrest control from another. Cause aversion in. Offend the moral sense of. Fill with distaste. Make revolution. The people revolted when bread prices tripled again.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.